Okay, I think we're live now.
Yep.
Welcome, everybody. We got Sean, Michael, Michael Truman, I guess is how you say that. I saw Wood Chips out there, Michael Chipser. Who else was out there? Mark Lindsay. I think I
Thomas
saw him
Beard.
out there. Yeah, it's populating up a little bit here. All right. Welcome, everybody. I just want to get on here and kind of go over a few things. There's Dell Ludlam from Tulsa, Andrew W. from, let's see, I'm not sure where Andrew's from. Welcome, everybody. Uh, wanted to talk about a few things, but first, I've got my buddy Javi on here with me tonight, and I wanted to let him uh, first he can introduce himself if there's anybody on the planet that don't know him, and secondly, he can talk about some things he's got coming up. Take her away, Javi.
Thank you, Dave. Welcome, everyone. My name's Javier Unzueta with Javi's Woodshop. You can find me on YouTube, Javi's Woodshop. And pretty soon, actually tomorrow evening, I'll be beginning my weekly uh, Design with Javi. Well, Javi, CNC Design with Javi. I'll come up with a title by then. On Twitch, twitch.tv/Javi Wood Shop. One word, no S after Javi. So Javi Wood Shop on twitch.tv/Javi Wood Shop. And feel free to bring in your ideas. I'll be doing some Vectric 3D, 2D, VCarve, Aspire designs over the coming weeks. If you have any questions on vectorizing files, working with photos, or using CNC files for CNC routers, lasers, engravers, etc., that's what I plan to tackle. And general CNC questions. Come and join. Love to have you. Thank you, Dave.
Okay. Yeah, I know I'm going to be a regular viewer of that. And you'll be covering Aspire and VCard Pro, correct? Or
Yes, absolutely.
okay, okay, that's good. Um, I see we got Jat. There's Michael Chipser, Larry Duggar, Jeff Robinson. Good to see you guys on here. Yeah, just want to talk about a couple of things. First, I wanted to make sure everybody knows about the uh, Gatton CNC Christmas Challenge. It started on Black Friday a week or so ago, and I've got the rules and how to enter and all that over on the www.davegatton.com website. Um, just go over there, and there's a link right in the top. Where all the home and all that stuff is. Just the one that says 2017 Gatton CNC Christmas Challenge. So you can go there. Also, if anybody's interested in being a sponsor, we've already got, of course, Gatton CNC Garage Works are going to kick in a bunch, and we've got Mike Fulton and Makers Media and Tommy G's Wood Shop, who are going to help out with sponsoring a few prizes as well. So, um, anyhow, I wanted to talk about that a little bit. We've got a couple of entries so far. I don't know if you've seen those. I post those on Facebook, and I've also created a playlist. And you can also find the playlist by either going to my YouTube channel, or you can go to the, again, www.davegatton.com website, and there's a link there to watch the playlist. And I'm sure it's going to grow pretty good here as time goes on. It's still real early yet. But we've got a couple of entries so far, and glad they kicked it off with that. Let's see what else we've got. Another thing I want to talk about, and I'm just going to talk about this briefly. Just you can call it a rant if you want. Sometimes I get to ranting a little bit, but I'll try to keep it calm. I get questions sometimes about the GarageWorks CNC. And I've been getting quite a few emails here lately, and I just want to try to clarify once again that the kind of DIY kits or the kind of machines, CNC stuff I sell is different than probably anybody else. You know, I sell pretty much a basic frame. You can get the lead screws and Acme nuts and stuff like that for me too if you want. But I do not offer a complete machine. I get people all the time wanting to know how much it'd be for this size machine with everything needed to make it run. And that's not what I'm about. You know, I make it where people can build their own machine. They can make it how they want. They can put a Xylotex dry box and stepper motors on it, or they can build their own electronics. You know, so I just want to make sure that what you see on the website, what I sell, that's the way it is. I don't, if I tried to buy the Xylotex dry box for you, I'd be ordering it. It'd come all the way from California to here, and I'd turn around and slap another label on it, mark it up a bunch, and then send it to you. So, you know, it's just as easy for that person to make the mouse click and get it themselves. Same thing with the Acme nuts. I mean, Package B's got the Acme nuts and stuff, but you know, if people want me to get them, I'll get them. I cut the lead screws to length and all that, and send that as part of Package B. But if you want to save money, the more you do yourself, the more money you'll save. So that's what I'm about. No router mounts, no router, no dry box, no stepper motors. It's all there for you to do what you want. But the links are all there. I mean, you know, I've made it about as easy as I can for people to build a complete machine without having to source parts, because I've got the links to the exact stuff I use right there on that website. So anyway, enough of that. And the other thing I want to talk about is, you know, in one of these live streams I did a while back, I know I haven't been doing one every single week, but I talked about I'm going to be taking this apart, and yeah, Mark, you got to work. That's the way it is. I'm trying to get everybody, you know, get them. What's the word I'm looking for? You know, get them trained on how to build their own machine. I thought, you know, you in particular, everybody knows that when you spend the time to build your own machine, you know how to troubleshoot it a lot better. But some guys, they want, you know, they go, well, I'm looking at this machine and I'm looking at that machine and I looked at yours. Well, if you're looking at those others, you probably better go ahead and buy one of them other ones, because I'm not going to hold your hand. I'll show you how to build one. And, you know, I'm all about that, but I'm not going to hold your hand and for some of this other stuff. So
Larry was asking a little earlier if that guy on the show with me today was Dave, because he says the guy with the beard.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, this beard ain't gonna last much longer. I don't know why it's lasted this long. I was only doing it for that No Shave November thing. Yep. And of course, right now, I don't know if you guys know this, but I got it nice and toasty in here. In fact, I probably should cut the heater off. But it's been like, we've had that little cold front move through, and it's been like 40 degrees with rain, and, you know, which makes it feel like it's about 30 or something. And, you know, of course, you can see back here, I've got the shop all insulated. But when you first come out here in the morning, it's whatever temperature outside, that's what it is in here. So I've had to have my heater going all day, knowing I was going to be coming out here tonight. And it's actually pretty toasty in here. So anywho, yeah, so I'm going to be taking this one apart. And as Javi touched on the Twitch thing earlier, I wanted to, we'll talk about that a little bit. You know, I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but for whatever reason, it seems mine and a ton of other people's videos, like this becomes a video after the broadcast is over. You know, they find something to demonetize them for, and then you have to ask for a manual review, and then they'll look at it and they'll go, oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, and then they do it. Well, you lose all the revenue from the original views, while it wasn't monetized. And for me, it's not a lot of money anyway, but it's just the principle of the thing. What few views I get are usually that first 24 hours. So, and that's probably true for everybody's video, really. But so I'm looking at maybe trying the different format. As Javi was talking about the Twitch TV is a format that's becoming more and more popular as far as I can tell. Russ Clarity does his Let's Talk Shop with Russ show every Saturday on YouTube, but he also does a live Twitch show, or I guess that's what you call it, a Twitch show or whatever, on Wednesdays. In fact, he's got one going on right now. He started at 7:30. And if I'm not out here talking to you guys, I'm sitting in there having Russ on my big screen in there watching his Twitch show. So I'm looking at doing that format. When I switch to that, I probably won't do it until, well, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to do anything until after the first of the year. When Javi and I first talked about the Twitch, and he said he was getting ready to do something too. I'm thinking, great, I'll let you get all the bugs,
all the mistakes out of it.
Yeah, get everything figured out, and then you can tell me how to do it.
Got you covered.
But I did download the what is it, OBS? I think it is.
Yep, OBS.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think I've got it set because it really wasn't that hard, and I haven't done all the extra stuff like you have.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty. It's relatively simple and straightforward, but it's very adaptable, very expansive. I've got two cameras going on, one on the CNC, one on myself, and the display, and I could add more cameras if I wanted to. If your computer and your bandwidth can handle it, you could do anything you want with it, really. Design backgrounds and have little things like tip jars and other little accessories on there. It's
yeah. Well, I noticed in the chat there, Sean Martyr says first time he's heard of it. And Sean, I haven't heard. It hadn't been that long ago I heard of it. I think probably the first time I heard of it was when I noticed Carl Jacobson doing it, and he'd probably been doing it on there a while. I don't know how long he's been doing it.
Carl and Zach from NZ or NV Wood Turning. He does a lot of stuff. And it used to be a gaming platform. It used to be for gamers to talk with their headphones and share and all that. And lately it's starting to become Lyle just says popular. Twitch has been around for several years, and that's what kills me. I guess I just don't get out enough or something. But I hear about something like seeing Carl, and then Russ Clarity started doing it, and I go, well, what is this Twitch thing? And then I find out it's been around for a while, and I'm like, man, I wish I had known about it and got in on it a little earlier, because like I said, I don't know about the future of YouTube. I'm sure it'll probably always be around, but I'm looking at making the switch and doing the live streams on something else. And the thing I liked about it, like I said, whenever I'm not out here talking to you guys, I'm sitting in there watching Russ Clarity, because he does one on Wednesdays. And I like that he has two cameras, and like obviously you could probably set up more, but he'll have one kind of on him. Yep. And then another one focused down on his scroll saw, because he's usually doing scrolling. And as y'all might know, I've been scrolling a little bit here lately, so I'm very interested in watching him and seeing if I can pick up some tips. And I have, as a matter of fact, picked up some tips from Russ. So I'm looking forward to trying to Twitch next year. But one of the things I wanted to talk about is what I'm going to do. And like I said, I'm going to take down this machine. I'm going to replace this.
with something else. Well, I've been thinking, what do I want to do? Because I'm thinking I've got enough room here. I could bring both the garage works from around there in the garage, you know, like the one with the laser, the smaller one with the laser, and the 36 by 24, and put them side by side and all that. And I thought, no, that's not really what I want to do. I want to be able to have a machine out here that I can run. And, you know, I want to do it out here. The problem with running my machine in the garage over there is, yeah, I could have the camera on it and be out here, you know, turning or scrolling or something, but I'm really not going to be paying that much attention to the camera. And I can't hear, you know, I mean, even because my phone has an option where you can turn the sound on of the camera I've got watching that machine. But by the time you heard it messing up, and by the time I got all the way back into there, it could be some big time trouble. So I want to be able to run something out here with a little bit bigger machine. This, you know, this old thing here has got about a 40 by 26 cutting area, so it's not real big. And, you know, that way I could be sitting right here scrolling, or I could be down on the other end of the shop, turning with the lathe or whatever, and still be able to hear and see what's going on right here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build kind of a super duper custom Dave Gatton CNC, I guess, you know, another way to call it. Those of you might know that when I was turning a week or so ago, the old Rockler Excelsior lathe, the motor on it just quit. And rather than get another motor to replace that one, I just bought a new lathe. So that's freed up that lathe to now become a pretty slick rotary axis. So I plan to incorporate that into the build that I do here. And I've got some things kind of that I'm tossing around in my head that I haven't seen anybody else do. At least in a hobby kind of. That's hobby, H-O-B-B-Y, not hobby.
I get those two confused all the time.
Yeah, I know, because it sounds so similar, hobby. But anyway, so I think and this is kind of why I wanted to talk about this tonight, to see. Yeah, I follow RJB Woodturner. I've learned a lot from that guy. Wow. Yep. He's had a lot of problems with that. And of course, you know, they happen on Friday, which really sucks. Look up at the camera. I'm not that pretty. You don't need to see me look at the camera. I'm trying to watch the chat down here. That's why I'm looking down.
I got you covered there.
That's more interesting than looking at the camera.
Yeah, sometimes it is.
But yeah, yeah. Wood Muse Studio. Yeah, so all that stuff rolling around Dave's head, making his hair grow out like that. Yeah. Now I'll clean up after the first of the year, probably. I could be back to the old clean cut guy. But now, so I'm going to do it because I'm going to do that build here once I get this taken apart. I kind of thought it would be fitting to use this old machine, which I've had for years, to make the parts for the one that's going to replace it. So that's probably what I'll do. I don't know if I'll do any I see Michael Chips over says I might trim down my Gatton. You know, Michael, that's a good point, because I mean, those big old machines y'all built, that's great if you got the room, but you know, when you get one like that, that's why I always question when somebody says they're going to build a 4x8. You know, I got to have a 4x8. Well, if you're not cutting 4x8 stuff every single day, you're going to get tired of it taking up that much room. But yeah, Michael, what I plan to do here is I've measured about how far this one sticks out. And you know, of course, I've got about another 5 or 6 inches worth of table here, right here. But if I measure against the wall and come out I think this measures, I think it was like 54 inches, something like that. I think. So I figure even if I come out, you know, enough to where I can get 4 feet deep. Yeah, that would be about 4 feet deep. And then I'll probably make it, you know, about 5 foot wide or so. I'm not going to make it super big, but just a little bigger than this one for sure. And then, you know, then it'll have a lot more bells and whistles, if you will. Another thing I'd like to do is, because I want to have it out here to run while I'm doing other stuff in the shop, I'm probably going to build, you know, this, I've just got kind of a 3-sided Lexan thing that just, I mean, they're just propped up here. There's nothing to it. Mainly it's just to help contain the dust. But what I'll do on the next one is I'll build more of an enclosure, because I like the way, you know, when I'm talking in Hangout sometimes with Hobby, he can be running his back there, and it's, I mean, you can hear it, but it's not overly annoying. That enclosure really knocks the sound out. So I want to do something like that. And it'll contain the dust as well, hopefully. So, but anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up is, yeah, good. Yeah, you're right, Michael. It doesn't take much to modify it, and most of the work's already done. You know, some of the stuff. But so I'll be doing that build here, and I'm thinking what I might try to do is, since I don't have a ton of time, things have slowed up, especially now around the holidays. They've slowed up a little bit. But what I might try to do is do a lot of the actual build live on that Twitch thing I'm talking about. So you guys can let me know your comments on that and what you think, you know, if that, you think that would be worth watching or not. But that's what some of my plans are for early next year, 1st of 2018. So, does anybody have any questions? I don't see any.
Mostly they're asking about the what's a good size for. I mean, I know it's personal preference, but Dave, what would you prefer as a good size for a CNC, the most common?
Well, you know, the thing about the Gatton CNC, and it's nice that it's designed where it's easy to make it, you know, 6x6 if you wanted to, or 5x5. You know, it's cool that it's easily made that way. You know, it's really easy to do. But like I said, I've had this machine. You know, I had this machine for a long time before I had some of them other ones. You know, right now I've got about 5 CNCs, but for a long time this was my only one, and it was 40 across the X and 26 deep, which, you know, that sounds pretty small, really. But there's not much I couldn't do. I mean, I couldn't cut 4 foot by something, obviously, but you know, I have run this thing where, not since I've had it back here in the shop, but I used to have this in my garage, and I have run things, you know, 7-8 feet long by, you know, and back then it wasn't called tiling. I don't know if they even had that tiling feature back then. It was just, you know, I figured out how to index it and do that. So I've made lots of stuff. You know, you really have to think about what's the, and I wouldn't even say what's the largest thing you'll ever cut, because you might go, oh, well, I might get to do a 4x8 sign. Yeah, but how many 4x8 signs do you think you're going to do? You know, what's the main thing you want to do?
Yeah, and can you sacrifice the space?
Yeah, first of all, you got to have the space, and then it's like, well, if you got it, do you really want to? I mean, I know some people that have a 4x8, you know, DIY machine or something they bought, and the back half just is always full of stuff.
Yep.
Because they they only cut small stuff on the first 2 or 3 feet maybe. And even at that, a lot of times over in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see stuff like that. So there's no, it's hard for somebody else to say what's a good size for you. That's you just have to use your best judgment and do that. Call it. I missed that comment. What was they call it? The jumbo Gatton. Ray, no, you didn't miss the setup of the smooth stepper. I never could get the thing to work out here, and I didn't want to spend a lot of time with it. I've got my UC 100 running out here now. In fact, I may do a give away that smooth stepper.
Richard's asking if you ever considered building a machine with an automatic tool changer. And can it be done on a hobby CNC?
Anything can be done.
Yep, absolutely.
But I don't see me ever doing that. I'm just there's nothing I'm in that big a hurry to do.
Yeah, it kind of all goes back to a similar question as the size is how often are you going to use it? And by the definition, a hobbyist CNC is not really going to do, well, I do a lot of tool changes, but I do it with the automatic touch plate that with my setup. But you're talking, for those of you unfamiliar with an automatic tool changer, you're talking about a whole different router or spindle with either hydraulic, it's all air, basically pneumatic. Thank you. Couldn't come up with the word. It's a pneumatic and a very, very expensive piece of machinery that you need to have in order to swap the tools. I mean, it swaps tools on its own. If you're talking automatic tool changer, as opposed to automatic tool plate or automatic touch plate, which is it's like a semi-automatic.
Yeah, I think to try to do something like that on a hobbyist machine, a DIY build or something, that would be borderline.
The spindle will cost you more than the machine.
Yeah. I mean, if you're so busy that you really got to have that, then you need to buy a production type machine that's got that.
Yeah.
Because you'd be, the learning curve trying to figure out all that stuff yourself would be, just crazy. I'd just figure out how to buy one that's they've already got it figured out.
Yep. You're talking about working with solenoids, working with more switches. It's just another level of complicated. It's not that complicated. Well, I say it's not that complicated, but it's another level of complicated.
Jesse Banjo says, "Hey Dave, can you make the Y-axis longer to make cutting area the whole table?" Well, to make sure I understand your question, I always think of the Y-axis front to back.
Mm-hmm.
So to make it longer, you're always going to have a part you can't get to because of the gantry.
It's all relative. You can actually say make the table shorter.
Yeah. I can make the table shorter, but I still got to have rails running.
Rails running out past the table.
So now, as far as the X, you can make it where you can get pretty much right next to the rail. You're talking about hanging over. So in other words, I'd make the table stick out, but the rail would go ahead and stop because the router does hang over a little bit. Maybe that's what he's talking about, I guess. Or have you been drinking and you got a hangover? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it hangs over the front quite a bit. A lot of people choose to put some sort of a lathe in place or extend the table. You could actually extend the table out the front in a
Yeah,
strange configuration.
I think maybe that's what he was talking about. Is extending the table and the rails from far. Because even with this one, well, I don't know, you guys probably cannot see it, but if I pull this all the way up till the gantry bottoms out on this steel right here, the router bit's going to be sticking out probably a good 2 or 3 inches anyway. I don't even know for sure what it is on this one. It's probably a good 2 or 3 inches.
Yeah, Gussie was talking about on the backside. Yeah,
Okay.
there's not much you can do that short of sticking a router on the other side, which is
well,
kind of
so basically what he's saying is you'd have the rails. The part of your table would be shorter.
right.
See, I like to go ahead and fill that in with table, just so no dust can go back there, and also to be able to put clamps back there. Because I'm old. If you're not using clamps, then you might not worry about it. But
Gussie says so as not to lose cutting area. Well, you're not losing cutting area. You're gaining a tabletop for stuff.
yeah. I've I was talking about guys that have 4x8 tables, and the back half is always full of stuff. Well, even my Gatton in there, I found that last foot or so that never gets cut, I end up stacking stuff up back there.
Yep. Yeah, I have. Well, every CNC is pretty much the same. Under the gantry at the very end, and just behind it, you're going to still have table left over. I mean, every CNC is the same way. And I mean, the way around that, for those of you who hasn't occurred to them, is like Dave said, is just make the rails longer, and then you just don't have a table back there. Or again, make the table shorter. But it's just a matter of getting longer lead screws and creating the table longer. But
well, again, this, if you can't tell, this is a 12 by 28 shop. And when I say 12, I think that's pretty much outside dimensions. It's probably 11 and a half or so by the time you measure inside. So I don't want to get, this whole end of my shop has always been the CNC. When I first moved in, I put it here, and that's where it's always been. And I've got a lot of other stuff, but you can't see it all, but I've got a bandsaw right here. I got a scroll saw. I got a cart with a Delta planer. I've got a Ryobi compound miter saw. I've got my home built router table and router lift right there. I've got a rigid table saw. I've got another big cart that I use when it's cleaned off. Right now it's full of stuff, but I've got a sander on it and some drills, and I use that for an outfeed table. On the far end, in the corner, I've got my lathe, and in the middle on the far end, I've got my drill press. And then in the other corner, I've got my homemade drum sander. So there's a lot of stuff, probably not hobby type stuff, but there's a lot of stuff in this small building. And by having this kind of on the end, it it really it keeps the center of my shop kind of open. I can easily walk through and get to anything here. But I'm thinking what I'll do is when I build this one, and again, you can't see it from the shot, but this machine is, let me just grab a tape.
Yep. Yeah. Wood Chips was mentioning that earlier I said that the gantry, under the gantry and behind the table, and Wood Chips pointed out that, not every CNC has a gantry. That's true. There's and not everyone has a gantry. Some have bricks. Remember that design? I always got a kick out of that one.
All right, this table, and again, the machine's not that wide. The machine is only, I don't know, maybe 52, 53 inches wide, counting that stepper motor sticking out. But the table I've got it setting on is 58, and it's pretty much sitting in the center of this space. So I've got room on both sides to take these little panels down and clean stuff off. But when I build the new one, because I'm going to build it longer than the X. I'll probably build it about, I'll probably use about a 5-foot lead screw, and I'll probably have it shoved over close to that corner, and put all of the free space over here on this other side. And then again, like I said, this thing sticks out from the wall about 54 inches. So I may not even make it where it'll cut 4 feet that way. I may just make it where it'll cut about 3 feet. I don't know. If I did make it where it could cut a 4x4, I'd probably never cut anything that big.
Yep.
So I don't know. I may make it where it'll cut like 4 or 5x3 or something like that. I don't know. And of course, I still want to build that enclosure, so I've got to account for that. And plus, you know, anybody that's met me knows I'm short, so I don't want to make the thing too big, because with this belly, I have trouble reaching back to do stuff if I can't walk around behind it. So, but I do have something up my sleeve. Like I said, you'll want to be sure and tune in when I do the live streams on the build, because there will be something you've probably never seen on at least a hobby machine.
Yeah, they're talking about every CNC has a gantry with dead space behind it, and you have to qualify. And I'm meticulous when it comes to when everybody says CNC this and CNC that. My brain doesn't work the same way as everybody else's. You have to specify CNC router with me, because I've worked with CNC lasers and CNC vinyl cutters and CNC rotary engravers, and they're all different animals. A CNC vinyl cutter is still a CNC, but it operates the same way, but with a completely different configuration and no blank space back there.
Yeah. So yeah, and see, I'm kind of the opposite, because I've been doing CNC routers so long. When
everything CNC,
I immediately think something similar to this.
Yeah.
You know, either a laser or a, you know. Of course, I've been around the, you know, in sheet metal shops with the big, you know, the big lasers and stuff like that. And they still have, you know, a laser head is just very much like a router.
Right.
And it's on the gantry, so you've still got but it's not dead space, because they have plenty of extra room. You know, I guess they've just got a shorter table or whatever. Shuttle table. So.
Yes. Mark clarified it. Every CNC with a gantry has dead space behind it. Yes. That is, I don't want to say absolutely, because I don't like saying absolute, but it's probably absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not every CNC. Wait a second, Mark. Not every CNC with a gantry has dead space behind it, because if you have a dual-sided router on either side of the gantry, technically that's not dead space.
Yeah, and I can tell you, I won't have one behind there.
No,
I probably will. You know, I like. As much as I don't like change as far as some things, like I'm a Mach 3 user forever and stuff like that. But other things I get tired of, you know, like when I do machines and stuff. Like I've got in the garage there, I've got that little 24x18 that I built. Actually, I built it during one of the live streams. And, you know, I've got the laser on that. And I hardly ever use that thing, because when you have 3 machines in one room, at least when you're, you know, like me, whichever one you're not using is probably going to have stuff piled on it. So I need to, I'm thinking about taking that one back apart. Maybe I'll do a giveaway. I don't know.
Yep.
I'll do a giveaway on that.
One of the questions we have is, what's the smallest text you can burn with a laser or a CNC router? I could definitely take the laser question. With a professional laser, not those little heads that go on the on CNC router gantries, but with the more expensive lasers, you're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of Well, how the question I would ask you is how big of a letter could you create with a line that's probably 3/1000ths of an inch thick, and 1/1000th of an inch precision. And as far as CNC router is concerned, Dave, how small a letter can you cut?
Well, I don't know.
How small
I
a bit do
mean,
you have?
it's, you know, to get it to show up where you can see it, it's,
Yeah.
you know, if you're going to do real small text, it's better to use a laser.
Now, I have seen there's a video going out. I'm sure many of you have seen it where they took an extremely small precision bit and engraved a little saying on a rice on a grain of rice. So yeah, smaller than you can see it is definitely the one of the answers. It all depends on how precise it is. On the one of Gatton's builds, I mean, we're talking thousandths of an inch, if not even more precise than that.
And you know, it's funny. You know, we were just talking about when somebody says CNC. You know, I usually think of routers, and you always think of, well, what kind of CNC are you talking about? It's the same thing with lasers, because when people say laser, because I have one of the little bitty 2.8 watt that goes, that's what I instantly think of. But then
Right.
they might be talking about a $20,000 what's that
Right.
one?
The Boss is one of them. Epilogue.
That's the one I was trying to think of. Yeah.
Universal. I have a GCC myself. It's a $20,000 unit, and it's a bit different in the sense that whereas that little laser head, relatively, that thing's huge in diameter. It's tiny, but it's huge in diameter compared to one of those professional lasers, because you have a monstrous laser, let's say 100-watt laser, behind the machine, and it's using mirrors along the gantries, and it goes and instead of an actual laser head or a router at the gantry on the Z box, you actually have a mirror focusing down and a very precise lens that focuses it to such a small pinpoint that, like I said, it's we're talking thousandths of an inch. And since it is focused, the height of the laser is very, very, it depends on the height of the laser. It's very sensitive. So
yeah. And I saw some comments a while ago. They were talking about, not losing table space by having the table move. And in the big world of CNC lasers, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 watt lasers, that's called a hybrid laser. And I hate those things because you put a piece of 3/4 plate 4x8 steel on there, and now you're lugging that around, moving that table. Plus, that machine will have practically twice the footprint of the other type machine. The other kind is usually called flying optics, where it's more like this, where you've got a gantry and it's moving X, Y, and Z right there on the head instead of moving that big old table. I never got the thing with tables. Because even when I say that, I mean talking about CNC routers. Some guys will build it like that, where they have the table move, but you've got to have a lot bigger footprint for that.
Yeah, so here's a good question from Ray, referring to the laser's text size. On that little one that you have, do you have any idea how small diameter it is? Basically how small a text can the 2.8 watt lasers go?
Well, I guess it depends on how fine tuned you have it. Have it dialed in on your point. If you get your dot as small as possible, it's got about an 8. I think the beam on that is, I want to say 8 or 10 thousandths on that 2.8 watt.
And
So
then again, it also depends, Ray, on whether you're doing it on wood or on, say, you're burning paint off brass or something. Because if you're doing it on wood, depending on the wood, how tight the grain is, that little burn could spread, and it'll take away the resolution, if you will. And another one, let's see, wood chips, laser can range from 1 to 60 watt. They make them now upwards of even 150 watt lasers for, I don't want to say home use, but home commercial use.
Yeah, small business use.
Small business use, yeah.
Yeah.
4,000 for the JTech Photonics.
Okay, is it 4? I didn't think it was that small. Yeah. I was thinking it was bigger than that, but well, yeah, you should be able to get fairly small. I've never sat there and just ran mine to see how small a text I get. I just I've done some text, but it hadn't been anything really small. I know. Let's see, his chips are still on here. He's done.
So if you're talking so if you do the calculations and you're talking 4/1000ths of an inch, and clearly the at least with the Gatton, it's more precise than that, the actual gantry, then you're looking at about 250 DPI resolution for anything you do. So you just relate that to a printer or something like that, and that's how small a type or how fine a picture you can burn, assuming your substrate is accepts it.
Yeah. I see Mark Lindsay saying his entry gets posted tomorrow. And I don't think I mentioned it, and that's one of the things I wanted to make sure I mentioned tonight is this year you can do more than one entry. So, if you guys that are getting these entries in early, you still got plenty of time to do another one, which will help your chances on winning one of the prizes. So,
oh, speaking of something I wanted to remind the viewers, Vectric has this month. Every month they give away some CRV files, some CNC files on their site. And this month they have the 12 days of Christmas that's going on. The first 12 days they're giving away one different project, full set of CNC files each day. And what's today? Today's the 6th. So today the 6th one will be given away. You can get 1 through 6 today on the vectric.com site. They're free, and it's a nice little, some of them are nice little projects to do, to try out.
Mark Lindsay just corrected it. It says, okay, make that my first entry gets posted tomorrow. There you go. That's the spirit, Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody knows that, last year we kind of did a 1 per household or 1 per YouTube channel or whatever it was. But this year it's wide open. Anybody can win wherever you live. And you can enter as many times as you want. So as long as it's on a separate YouTube video, that's listed over there on the website under the rules and stuff about how to enter. But yeah, if you want to make more than one video, go for it. Yeah, Michael, I was going to mention, that pen that you gave me at the meetup in Texas. You used the laser to engrave that, I think. I should bring that out here and show you. He made me a pen that's got Gatton CNC on one side and GarageWorks CNC on the other side.
Ah, nice. Yeah, for those of you wood turners and that you want to turn a nice little pen and you happen to have a CNC with a laser, that's a fantastic use of the CNC. Nice little custom pens. It's always fun.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I've seen since, like I said, since I've started kind of getting into turning a little bit, I've started watching more YouTube videos of guys turning. And there are a lot of guys that make pens and also have some kind of a small laser. So that's a neat way to add a personal touch to it.
Absolutely.
Or you could do it with a 4th axis, I guess, too, if you had a laser on your router. Which, like I said, I think I'm going to take down or take apart the little small one I've got in there with that laser, because I never use it. Every time I go out there, I'm always running either the
here's
the 24.
And now I'm going to get flack for this, but I don't mean to be grammar police, but did you mean 4th axis or rotary axis?
Rotary axis.
Because for those of you that keep saying 4th axis is assuming you already have 3 running, which means your router is now moving in a 4th axis or a 5th. But a lot of times people say 4th axis when they mean rotary axis, which you're basically taking away the X or the Y and turning it into the rotary axis.
Right.
But you're still running on 3.
Good point. Yeah, so I'll be using that old lathe for a rotary axis. Did I say 4th axis earlier when I was talking about that, or did I say rotary?
Well, I don't know about earlier, but when you just said it now, I get.
Okay.
It's a
I was reading what somebody put on the chat here: 4th axis for the win.
Yep.
But let's see. We got Trevor Carter over there. Darren Birds. Does a 3D printer count for the challenge? Well, technically it's a CNC, but I don't know.
Well, technically my printer's a CNC. Can I print something out on a piece of paper?
A plastic, Christmas decoration or something. I don't know. Shoot me a video. We'll see how it does.
Tell them only if you use wood filament.
Yeah. No, and again, for those who don't have one of my machines, just because it's called the Gatton CNC Christmas Challenge, it's not talking about the machine. The Gatton CNC machine. That doesn't mean you have to have one of those to enter. Anybody can enter. You can have a Gatton, a Garage Works, X-Carve, Shapeoko, whatever. Doesn't matter. As long as you show your, show in the video that you're using that to make your Christmas themed project. CNC pancakes. Yeah, I don't know. I remember Tommy G. It was Tommy G. I think had a CNC, one of those CNC. What do you call that thing? Pancake bot or something like that. I think it was called. CNC thing that printed out different kinds of pancakes. But all right, anybody got anything else? Any other questions? We're getting up to the top of the hour here. I had to get up and turn the heat off a while ago.
So for those of you who came in late, I just wanted to mention my my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Javi Woodshop, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Come, bring your ideas, bring your questions for the chat room for CNC, and I'm sure there'll be some professionals on well, Dave will be there, so there will be some professionals to answer your questions, or I'll answer them, and I'll be doing an interactive design, sharing with you guys how to, for those of you just learning or that want to learn Vectric software, or how to vectorize something, or how to or the different methods, for instance, of CNCing a photograph, whether it's using a stamp feature from Photoshop, or stippling, or VCarve photo VCarve. And I'll be covering all those in the upcoming weeks, Thursday nights. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Now, Javi, I see in the chat somebody's asking, do you have the results of your 30-day challenge? You're going to announce that on your Twitch thing, right?
I will announce it 1 week from tomorrow on the second Twitch show. So I'm still compiling them because while the video entries were easy to look at, and the judges still haven't seen all of them because I'm still compiling all the photo entries from. I mean, because they've put them on Instagram, they put them on Facebook, and they've put them everywhere. I'm still tracking down people who I didn't even know entered the challenge, and they've got 30 days of pictures because they didn't message me or anything.
Yeah. Mark Lindsay's telling me that Eric was asking about the bowl. This is my first ever turn bowl. And trust me, it's not that much to look at. But I was just playing around, having some fun. You know, you always learn some things from your first one. And there's a few things on here that probably I can see. You guys probably can't see it from the camera, but that I learned that, you know, stuff to do better next time.
Oh, Thomas was asking if there was a way to capture the Twitch so for future reference. I'll be recording all the shows and editing them, and later putting them for future reference on either YouTube or another platform, depending on what happens to be big at the time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like I mentioned, Russ Clarity's doing, and he may still be doing it as we speak. I don't know because I'm not watching it, but he does a Twitch show on Wednesdays starting at 7:30. And I know you can go back because when he first started doing it, I couldn't even figure out, you know, I'm not the most, you know, smart guy when it comes to computers, and all that Twitch stuff was new. And I'm like, well, how do you get on here to watch it? For some reason, I had trouble finding him. And then when I found him, then I realized that it's kind of like YouTube in that sense that you can go, or at least the way Russ does his, you can go back and watch the live show just like, you know, just like you were watching it live. Mm-hmm. Only it's a recording. And if I'm not mistaken, Javi, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you see the original chat as well in the
you do if I record it as such. I mean, if I record it, okay, yes, you'll see the whole thing. You'll see the chat, which is another nice feature of Twitch, because I'm answering Facebook has that feature too, and I don't think I've been able to do it with YouTube live, because Facebook, you can actually see the real-time chat. Same thing with Twitch, which is convenient if you want to know where my answers, the questions to the answers that I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one thing that I've always hated about these YouTube live streams is if somebody asks a question in the chat, you know,
you have to repeat
we don't
it.
repeat the, you have to repeat the question because we know the show when it's over and a video, then the chat doesn't show up. And if we just said, well, the answer is yes, but we don't say what the question is, people will be going, well, that didn't make any sense when they're watching it, you know, as a video. So, yeah, that's, like I said, there's just so many things I've been watching, not, you know, Russ and Carl Jacobson and on Twitch. And I just really think that's, you know, a format that I'd like to look at. And I was so happy when I mentioned it to Javi, and he's like, yeah, I think I'm going to do this. And I'm like, good, you do it first. And then I'll join later. But,
yeah, Gussie had a little earthquake in his area there.
4.2. It's nothing.
I wouldn't know. I live on a sponge in Miami here. So
my floor shakes that much when the dog runs through the house. Nah, I hope everything's all right out there, Eric. Okay, wow, we've had 50-something viewers watching tonight. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I guess we're going to sign off of here. I don't see any more questions in the chat. But yeah, be like I said, I apologize if people think I'm going to get on here and do these things every Wednesday night. I said from the beginning that I would only get on here and do one when I had something worth talking about or whatever. But I do plan to start doing the live streams anyway on Twitch after the first of the year. Probably start off with doing the build, doing a lot of it live. I'm not going to be out here running a table saw and all the running parts on this machine and stuff, where it's going to be loud. But I'll have have enough stuff done where I can start assembling it and do that during the live thing. And then once that gets done, we'll do projects and stuff like that. Dave, you have to write a book. What in the heck would I write a book about? I don't know. I'll probably still continue to shoot some videos, like build videos or something, and probably still put them on YouTube, at least for the short term. I'm just kind of playing it by ear. It just, like I said, I mentioned it earlier in the show, it gets really old, and no matter what you do, they demonetize it and ask you to ask for a manual review on it. And that's not just me. I see it on Facebook, people griping about it all the time. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but there's nothing that I have on here that shouldn't be or should be unsuitable for advertisers and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's just frustrating. So, and like I said, from what I've seen of Twitch, seems to be growing in popularity, where YouTube seems to be growing in frustration. So, Javi, you got anything else before we get out of here?
No, nothing much. Larry was asking, he was saying to do a YouTube live on how to get on Twitch. It's been so long since I signed up for Twitch, but just go to twitch.tv, but I guess follow the sign up. Signing up is free. Follow the prompts to sign up, and you could, and then if you go to this link or search for Javi Woodshop, you'll find me, and seems that simple. But
I'm hoping that when I start doing the Twitch thing, that at least some of y'all will come over there and watch. Because if nobody's watching me, then there's no need to sit there and talk to myself.
Right.
But yeah, that's really a pretty good idea to do a YouTube video. Of course, that would probably get banned for sure. Showing them how to go watch something else. I don't know. But yeah, I'll try to maybe post on my website or something.
That's the ironic. That's the ironic part. I actually watched 5 or 6 YouTube videos so I could learn how to set up the Twitch to transmit. Yeah. There's
a lot of it. I've watched some of them too. Of course, most of the ones it was gamers. I couldn't find one that wasn't into gaming.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a different
video. Yeah, but they show you how to get the OBS, and that's one of the
complicated parts. For those of you broadcasting, not following. Following is just sign up and go to us. Go to the page Thursday at 8 or just before, just like YouTube. Once the show starts or once the show is published to start, you'll have a chat room up, and
and it's it's very similar to YouTube. It's different in a couple of ways. One is they call it following instead of subscribing.
Right.
You follow somebody, but you can still get the notifications. Like, I get them when Russ's show goes live on Twitch or when Carl's show goes live on Twitch. So it's, in that respect, it's a lot like YouTube. So, but yeah, I hope everybody, don't think I'm trying to abandon y'all by switching to Twitch. I'll still be around. I want y'all to come join me on what I think is going to be a better format. So
Yeah, Sean is saying all this talk about Twitch, kiss you're monetizing this video goodbye. And I'm thinking, well, all this talk about Twitch was because they were kissing our monetizing video goodbye before we were talking about Twitch.
Yeah, I might as well cuss or something because it's probably not gonna make it anyway now. Yeah. But you know, like I said, I don't really care. It's it's like now and it's bad because it's now when I put out a video or whatever you call this and it becomes a video, I just automatically assume it's going to be demonetized because that's the last 3 or 4 have. And I'm thinking, what did we talk about that they couldn't monetize?
Rich,
and then I clicked
Richard Kowalski said, Dave, if you have a kid under 30, just let him set up the Twitch for you.
Yeah. Well, I think, like I said, I think I've got the basic part set up, and Javi was telling me right before we went live tonight that he's got his backgrounds in the tip jar and all this different kind of stuff. So I'm sure I can pick his brain and get it all figured out.
Oh, yeah.
But if not, I'll find some kid to go do it for me. So, all right. Well, if nobody has any other questions, I guess we'll, know any gamers. Yeah, they'll hook you up. Yeah, because that's most of what it is anyway, right now. But, all right. Well, I guess we're going to get out of here. We went a little bit long. Javi, thanks for joining me tonight and helping me watch the chat. And
thanks, Dave.
Answer questions. Wood chips. Dave, do I already have a Twitch channel set up? Yeah. Well, yeah, I think I do because I've already got my key. So in order to have my key, right, Javi, I would have to already have a channel.
Yep.
Yeah. So you should be able to go find me. Of course, you're not going to find any content yet.
Yeah. Technically, once you sign up for Twitch, you have a Twitch channel.
Okay. Yeah.
Like YouTube. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, okay. So, yeah. So if you want to go to Twitch, sign up, and again, it's free. It's like YouTube. It doesn't cost anything. And then, search for Javi and myself, and you'll find us and click follow, and then you won't miss anything.
Yep.
I don't know that I may do, because what is today? The 6th. I know and I didn't even mention this. Gosh, I'm slipping here. I talked about the CNC challenge. I will be announcing the winners on a Saturday night, and as of right now, it'll probably be a YouTube thing. That's what everybody's used to. I don't want to switch right where people can't find how to see that and all that, but it'll be a live YouTube show Saturday, December 30th at 8:00.
Sweet.
The link is not set up yet, but I think I've already got that on the website. That's when I'll do it.
Oh, speaking of challenges, I wanted to a quick plug for those of you who have bandsaws or like using bandsaws. There's a Dave Jones from Portal Woodworks has a bandsaw box challenge. You could go to craftsmansconnection.com and you could see all the different challenges that there are, and including Dave's and my past challenges, and have some fun with woodworking.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot about Dave's challenge. Javi, I got a question for you. Michael Chipster's over there saying, can we link it so they can follow? Is there a way to take the link?
Let me
well, is there a way to put it like on Facebook?
Yeah, I will be posting it all over Facebook tomorrow, the Twitch stream. And and anybody, I mean, when you're there, Dave will be there. So if you want to link to his channel, just click on him and you could just link to his channel and everything if you can't find them. But
so does that part work the same way? You know how like right now you could hover over Mark Lindsay CNC and it go right to his channel.
Yeah.
Does that work the same way?
Yeah, right now. In fact, let me here, I'll do a quick screen share. If I may.
We'll get y'all Twitch educated. Don't worry.
Yeah, and
Javi will anyway. I don't know about me, but Javi will.
Yeah, and basically, like, okay, it's new, and go to twitch.tv/Javi.
You're not screen sharing yet.
I know. I'm setting up the. I just wanted to open the window so I could just screen share the window here. So right now, if you go to Twitch, this is what you will see. My little avatar. That's a leg.
Oh yeah, you're already set up. Hold on, Javi. Let me lock it on you here.
Oh, okay.
So it won't move when I'm.
But basically, this is what you'll see if you go to www.twitch.tv/Javi Woodshop, and it's got some basic information. That's the page that you will see when I'm offline, and up on the top right there you see offline. At 8 o'clock when I start streaming tomorrow evening, you'll see the show, and there's a somewhere around here there's the chat. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Bottom right, you have a chat, so you can actually just talk to different people in the chat and throughout the show, and ask questions, and I'll be reading the chat. If it gets too I'm gonna try it solo the first show, but Dave will be around and others will be there to. But I'm
gonna be trolling in the chat.
Yeah, if it gets a little complicated, I'm gonna do what a lot of Twitchsters do, which is have somebody be a moderator for me and watch the chat and call me on my headphones I'll have a Bluetooth headset on and listen to their voice. But I mean, I don't believe there's a need for that because I'll be working on the computer. So
now Michael Chipser just put an interesting tidbit in the chat here. He says, "Side note: Twitch is owned by Amazon. If you have Prime, you get extra perks."
Yes.
Okay. That's good to know because I have Prime.
I do, and there's some news that I may be I may be instead of YouTube, I may be putting the files up on Prime after on Amazon, but there's a lot of stipulations that I got to follow. So
yeah,
I'm still looking into that.
Okay. But yeah, I see from the comments over there in the chat, there's a lot of folks that, tonight might be the first night you've ever heard the word Twitch, and don't feel bad because I didn't hear about it, all that long ago either. So, but I have watched, like I said, Russ Clarity and Carl Jacobson, and I like what I see. I like the way the format is. I like the way the chat is. I just think it's maybe a little bit better thing than what I'm doing here with the Google Hangout chat thing.
Yeah, and let me link it to you here on the again. It was on the chat, but also come prepared. Bring if you have a design or a curious question about working with a certain part of Vectric that you're unfamiliar with, or I mean, I'll do my best to answer any questions that you have. So and likewise, it's an interactive show. So if while I'm building a Christmas tree 3-dimensional something or other doodad or widget, and you want to add something to it, mention it, and then we'll play it by ear.
Okay, I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, Mark, the first topic, Mark's asking what the first topic will be. The first topic, I'm going to start with a basic introduction because there's a lot of beginning CNCers out there that don't even know. They either work with proprietary programs, which they can purchase a copy of Vectric and because it's much better than most programs. For those of you that have those other smaller brand CNCs, you know, the Dremel type or whatever. A lot of those use little proprietary programs, but and they're just getting into Vectric now. So I'll go through a few of the basics, but each week, it's I don't want to say it's going to be all over the place, but I don't want to limit myself to only learning how to open the program or only learning how to do 3D models in Aspire. I don't want to go to either extreme. I want to just touch all the different bases, and each week you'll see me designing something, working with vectors, which is the most important tool for designing your own files. And then at the if we have time at the end, I'll cut it out. But most likely throughout the week, I'll cut whatever model or models that we've designed that week and show them to you the following week. And I also have the advantage of being able to put like a time-lapse video, so I could always show you the making of it or how it processed, because that's one of the there's many topics, and I, like I said, I'm all over the map here, but things like order of operations, which is important that people should know, everything, feeds and speeds. I could go on and on and on, and that's why we're doing a weekly show and a little bit at a time.
Yep, very good. And I saw your link that you posted in there, and I'm guessing mine would be the exact same thing but only instead of Hobby Woodshop, mine would be Dave Gatton.
Yep,
because that's what my Twitch account is set up as.
That's exactly right. Yeah, let me see if I can put that out for you.
Twitch.tv, whatever you said.
Yep,
I don't remember.
Yeah, Michael, I got your link. I'll be looking at that. Let's see here. Let me see if I can put your link up there. Let's see. Dave Gatton. Yep. Yep. And there you are. And for those of you that are going to click on Dave Gatton's link here, keep in mind he hasn't set anything up, so it's going to be just a blank screen, but you are following him when you click follow. So, and the little the little up on the upper right, you'll see a like a little heart, which is for notifications. That's similar to the bell on YouTube. So if you want to find out a notification of when we go live, just make sure you have that thing clicked, and that's it.
Okay, yeah, I just clicked on that myself to see, because I'm pretty sure that's what mine was. I just kept it Dave Gatton since that's what my YouTube channel and everything else is. Looks like it's fine, isn't it?
Yeah. Dave, you took me off presenter, right? Or did you?
Yes, I did.
I just wanted to make sure I'm not they're seeing you. Yeah.
Yeah, that must be me, because it's showing that I'm following Simply Wooden Creations.
Yeah.
Which is Russ Clarity. So yeah, that must be me. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Now if I can get back to, there we go. All right. Anybody got any other questions or comments or anything? We were going to get out of here a while ago, and then we got off on the Twitch thing again. As a Prime member, you can get subscriptions in Twitch.
Yeah, I have seen that. I did. I mean, I am a Prime member, and that actually popped up as I didn't even know it was not an option for non-Prime members. But yeah, I was looking at that as well. So all the different, I'll be digging into that little by little.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so don't forget to go check out Hobby on Twitch tomorrow night. I'll be probably sitting in my recliner watching.
And I want everyone to build a project a day in December for the Christmas challenge.
I may just model some weird and crazy thing in SolidWorks and then send you the file and say, here, embellish this.
Yeah, why don't you start me at the most advanced level for the first show? Why don't you? No problem.
No, I can't wait to see what you come up with. It'll be a good show for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to it. All right. I guess we're going to get out of here. Yep, we're running along. Javi, thanks again for being on here. Thank you. We still got 40-some people. We had 50-some earlier. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. Like I said, I'll be doing the live stream on December 30th. That's a Saturday, December 30th at 8 o'clock to announce the winners from the
Christmas
Gatton CNC
challenge.
Christmas challenge. Had a brain part there for a minute. And I may do, depends on what kind of questions I get in my mailbag and stuff. You never know when I'm going to, decide to do one of these. I know we talked about we was going to do the UC 100 thing, and we never did do that. So maybe, thank you, Sean. Maybe we'll talk about that if anybody wants to know anything about that. All right. I guess we're out of here. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks, Javi, for being here with me. And everybody have a great night and a great weekend. We'll see y'all later.